assalamu alaikum, good morning, khushamdi, ji ayanu, goeiemorgen.
Pakhair Agale, Ni Hao, Chudashume, Washwale, Ohio Gonzaimes, Guten Morgen, Hola, Bonjour, Privyet, Kaifahal, Haleshama Chatore, Alan Wasalan Marhaba, Buna, Mucho, Gracias, Ishpata, and a very amazing good morning to everybody who's tuned into PTV World and are watching World this morning, alongside the very amazing, the very fabulous Shiza Hashmi and Shahzad Khan. Hi Shiza, how are you today?
I am absolutely great, how are you?
Well, I'm doing
Or
great.
rather, I have another way to answer
Okay,
that.
go
Ik
ahead.
ben goed, hoe gaat het met jou?
It's been
En hoe,
goed.
hoe gaat het met jullie allemaal? Het is World This Morning met Shahzad Khan en Shiza Hashmi. Dames en heren, appels en peren, goeiemorgen.
Wow, I mean, I seriously know that you were speaking Dutch, but I don't know what you said. So,
I
so what
said
have you
good morning,
said?
everyone. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to World This Morning with Shahzad Khan and Shiza Hashmi. And before that, I said, I'm good, how are you?
Wow, I'm perfect, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm flabbergasted of the fact that she can speak more languages than me, and I think that's great. Wow, I never knew this side of yours, but
Thank
Shiza,
you.
I think that it's great to actually to be multilingual as well,
know,
or
right?
bilingual. You know, this is because, ladies and gentlemen, when we use the word bilingual, it means two or more languages
Yeah.
as well. So it's always great to learn languages, and I think that at this point of time, before we actually get started with what we are talking about, don't you think that the weather's like changing rapidly? One day it's very
is.
cold, the other day, you know, you feel that
And it's not
nominal.
even sunny outside today, so I'm hoping for rain, fingers crossed.
Well, so which is why I'm going to predict the weather for all those other people who
Okay,
are out
let's
there,
do
and my
it.
sources are very reliable. Okay, so people, whatever we are going to share on the weather, please make sure that you agree to that, because otherwise you can probably just get a cold or get wet outside, because I think that it's going to rain today. Well, let's see what are the weather updates. Okay. Fall over the hills at scattered places in parts of country from today. What about you?
And also, I think, well, continental air is prevailing over most parts of the country, and a fresh westerly wave is likely to approach western parts of the country today.
And you know, I think that rain, thunderstorm with snow over the hills is expected at scattered places in Malakand, Hazara, Rawalpindi divisions, Islamabad, Gilgit, Baltistan, and Kashmir.
Wow,
But
on
moving on,
point. But also rain thunderstorm with snow over the hills is expected at isolated places in Peshawar as
wow.
well. Kohat, Mardan, Bannu, Diyai Khan, Quetta, Shob, Sargodha, Faisalabad and Gujranwala divisions.
And I think that this is very different, because I've never ever actually read a news which says that, you know, isolated places in Peshawar and Kohat, and that too, ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about rain, thunderstorm with snow. But at the same time, such snowfall over the mountains is also expected in Murree, Galiat, Malakand division, Gilgit-Baltistan, and Kashmir from tonight till Sunday morning, and that too over the weekend, yeah.
And we haven't forgotten South Punjab. So foggy conditions are expected in South Punjab and Upper Sindh during the morning and night hours.
Exactly.
Take our word.
Yeah,
and you'll
yeah.
be safe.
Yeah, obviously. And look at these visuals, ladies and gentlemen. These are the latest visuals, and this is how the condition of the motorway, or probably GT road, I think, is more safer if you want to travel, because there's a lot of people who live on the left and the right side of the GT road. It's very busy, so I think that there will be lesser fog.
Yeah.
But on motorway, right after Bhera, there's a lot of fog. So please make sure that you plan your trip, even if you have to go in between cities. But other than that, you know, if you love to witness snowfall this season, this winter, ladies and gentlemen, we have told you that in the upper parts of the country from Friday till Sunday, it'll be snowing. So make some snowmans out there. Wow. Have you ever made a snowman?
No,
Why?
because I don't know why. What do you mean by why?
I mean, you know, when I was a kid and we used to go to Murree on places like these, I've always tried, but I couldn't really make it.
We used to make snow angels though, the one when you lie in the snow and
Yeah, I know that, you know, she's got some gender problems, but it's all right. So since it was a snowman, so she never made it, but she made a snow angel. Okay, that's great. You won.
But okay, so today is the 4th of January, so
Yeah.
what are we talking about today?
Exactly. But ladies and gentlemen, you know, since it's 4th of January, there are two important reasons for us to be right in front of you. So first things first, I think the first one is, so we are celebrating two people's birthday today.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think that's what I want to do. So the first person whose birthday we are actually celebrating, I'm sorry that I actually you know, told my producer that I'm going to do it after the break, but I think that we can do it right
Yes,
now because
absolutely.
it's
Why
in
not?
line. So one of these gentlemen over here in PTV World, ladies and gentlemen, he's a part of our team, And what happened was that, there was this other guy with the name of Imran, and I had his name. He's a producer, he's a news producer, a great guy. You'll always see him in great energy too, as well. So I saved his number as Imran, and I saved his number as Imran as well, and both of them works for PDV.
Okay.
So every time I had to call the other Imran, I will call Imran Shahid, who's actually the producer, but it's his birthday today, 4th of January. So we're going to sing him a birthday song.
Okay,
So
let's
are you
do
ready?
it. Yes, absolutely.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Imran Shahid. Happy birthday to you.
I hope we do have his pictures as well, right?
Exactly, we do have his pictures, but other than that, ladies and gentlemen, whenever we celebrate birthday, what happens is that for all those people who actually have birthdays on 4th of January, this one's for you too as well.
Oh,
so
yes, happy birthday to
everybody,
everyone celebrating.
who's out there. But now at the same time, there's this other person whose
Yes.
birthday we are going to celebrate today, ladies and gentlemen, because I think that he's actually made a lot of difference in the lives of people who were differently able.
Yes,
Because I really
absolutely.
do not want to use the word that they were disabled or stuff like that, because I think that it's very demoralizing. They are able, but in a different capacity. So for people who couldn't actually read, I mean, this guy was the person who was behind it. Everybody is very familiar with the Braille system. So Louis Braille, back in 1809 till 1850s, I think, or
Yes.
1852.
Yeah.
This guy is a legend because he was the one who actually invented the Braille system at the age of 15.
Yes, absolutely. And to add to that,
Yes.
actually, may I? So at the age of 15, he actually lost his eyesight in a tragic accident, and he was normal when he was born, actually. So this person called Charles Barbier had already introduced this system. It
Yeah.
was called night reading system,
Yeah,
and they
yeah.
used to communicate with their platoons during wars as well.
Military.
So yeah, so Louis that we're talking about, Louis Braille, sort of adopted to that system and made little changes to that. And till date, we're using his system for everyone who is visually impaired and needs to read.
Exactly, but there's one more thing which I
Okay.
need to talk about, and that is that whether is it Louis or whether is it Louis.
I said Louis because it's Louis Vuitton and also it's France, so
Yeah, so probably Louis. Okay, so Louis Braille, ladies and gentlemen, but right now we've got a small report to actually shed light on what Braille system looks like and what is it and what's the history of Braille system. Go ahead, take a look.
Yes.
And when you guys will come back, we'll actually have been joined by some amazing people over here in the studios who are actually going to let us know more about the Braille system and how we can actually incorporate it in our daily life.
absolutely.
Let's
Let's
do
take
it.
a look.
Good morning. Good day.
Every year, 4th January is celebrated as Braille Day across the globe to commemorate the birth anniversary of the inventor of the Braille script, that is, Louis Braille. Braille is a system of raised dots that can be read with fingers by people who are blind or who have low vision. Braille is not a language. Louis Braille became blind by accident when he was 3 years old. Louis desperately wanted to read, and he was determined to find the key to his door for himself and for all other blind persons. Finally, in 1829, his efforts paid, and he was successful in creating a script based on 6 dots. His invention was inspired from night writing, which was invented by Napoleon's army captain Charles Barbier. It was only after his death that educationalists started recognizing his efforts and hard work and gave recognition to the Braille script 100 years after his death. Braille takes up more space than the traditional alphabet, so Braille books are much larger than their print counterparts. Braille is not a language. It's a tactile alphabet that can be used to write almost any language. There are Braille versions of Chinese, Spanish, Arabic, Hebrew, and many other languages. More than 1 million visually impaired people with the help of Braille script earn their own livelihood and compete with the world. Few famous visually impaired personalities include acclaimed author Helen Keller and composer and singer Steve Wonder. Braille Day is just the right occasion to pay respect to the one who made the world a simpler place for the sightless.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, so that was a small report to shed light on what Braille system looks like and how can it be helpful for people who are actually able in a different manner as well. And to talk about that, we have been joined by somebody who's a very regular on the show. He's a very energetic human being, looks very fresh, smart, handsome. And on my right-hand side, ladies and gentlemen, I've been joined by somebody who's actually visually impaired and is still a psychologist. He's the chief executive of Potohar Mental Health Association.
Wow.
And he's none other than Mr. Zulkarnain Asgar. Hello, assalamu
Hello,
alaikum. How are
Assalamu-
you?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
Absolutely perfect. Thank you very much for joining us. You look absolutely stunning. I think that you should get married again. How are you today?
I'm fine, perfectly fine.
Thank you very much for joining us, and that too on a very special day when it's actually the birthday of Louis Braille, who actually came up with this system which has actually helped people for centuries now. Because I don't think that this system can probably be digitalized, and I don't think that digitalization can be of help with reading. Do you think that that can happen?
I don't think so, because that is technically that's not viable, because everyone don't have access to the digital system. First of all, second thing is because reading itself is a wonderful thing, and you can enjoy a lot while reading. So nothing could be substitute of reading.
Yeah.
Right, so you actually do really appreciate the Braille
Yeah,
system,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
So, okay, but living in Pakistan, I have to ask you, have you been able to use this Braille system in probably ATM cards or ATM machines and other places as well, banks?
There are two banks in Pakistan.
Okay.
They use their Braille on their ATM, Braille embossed on their ATMs.
Okay.
And I will definitely appreciate the fact that you take those banks' names as well for people who can actually listen
Yeah.
or who might not even know about it. They can probably mustafeed ho sake isse.
Because is it technically it's viable. One is Allied Bank of Pakistan,
Yeah.
and another is in some machines of MCBs.
Okay.
Okay, perfect. So people who are visually impaired, partially or fully, can actually make use of ATM machines with, the Braille system in it.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Okay, but Zulkarnain bhai, I'm sorry, Shiza, that I have to
problem.
interject, but I think that we need to discuss about the history a little more as well.
Mm-hmm,
So, other than Louis Braille, what other historical facts can you share about Braille system?
Braille system is basically initially people living with visual impairment use the embossed words writing system, and that's they can only read. After invention of Braille, people were able to read and write.
Okay.
Through that, a lot of people contributed in the world, especially Dr. Taha Hussain in this part of the world. He did PhD in Urdu, and Egyptian education minister who was visually impaired, Dr. Majid Hussain, he was also minister, and there were other, especially one Nobel Prize winner. He worked for people living with hearing impaired and visually impaired. He himself was visually impaired, and he used Braille system.
Okay.
Okay, wow.
And at that time, digitalization was not very common.
Okay,
That's why it's very important, and still it's important in the when children are getting education, because UNCRPD says there are alternative source of education, mean of education, reading and writing, and it says in its obligation to it must be emphasized to promote inclusive education system.
Exactly.
Wow,
Okay, but
sounds great.
Zulkarnain sir, at the same time, what I've learned so far, because you've been on the show almost every year. And one day we were actually conversing about audio libraries too as well. So while I was in my school, or while probably I've been to a lot of different schools where children with special abilities are actually studying. But it was very unfortunate that I wasn't able to find one single Braille book within those libraries too as well. So are we like, is Braille technology obsolete now, and are we moving on to audio libraries? Because reading, I think, is one of those things which can never ever go out of the shelf. It has got the shelf life of being immortal.
Because the Braille system in Pakistan, there is National Braille Press, and they are producing book nursery to master level, first of all. And the second thing is that we are not promoting inclusive education system. That's why it's not Braille books are not very much common.
Okay.
And if you visit international airline, because and they provide menu and everything in Braille, and in Pakistan airlines are not very much inclusive, so that's why they don't provide Braille material, but Braille system is quite common and it's in all part of the world, but
I
Not-
it's
think in
not very
Pakistan,
much.
yeah, I think in Pakistan it's only common on those
special education system.
no those drink glasses which you get from fast food delivery, or probably from the drive-through as well, where you actually have to press one and the other one actually tells you whether it's diet or not.
Yeah,
so,
that's it.
it's there. So if those people can do that, if they can come up with these ideas, there's this one thing which is very unfortunate. Once again, I'm sorry that I have to highlight these issues, that not even within our public offices we see the system for people who are actually specially able.
And one more thing before you answer that, Mr. Zulkarnain, since you mentioned about menus at, airplanes and whatnot, but also when you go to restaurants, I don't think there are a lot of restaurants that do offer Braille menus or probably bills and everything.
But with
So
restaurants,
in
I think
that
you can
case-
even ask the other
I
person.
know, but
Yeah.
that's what my point is.
Yeah.
You're not independent, right? Then because you have to keep someone with you all the time. So in terms of finances, when you're talking about bill, you're not private and independent. Is that a problem? And do you think that can be fixed?
Yeah,
that's a
that
good
can be
question.
fixed. I completely agree, because menu must be in Braille.
Yeah.
Because on currency notes you find embossed, figures.
Right.
You can read those currency notes.
Okay.
That's quite easy. And smartphones, usually they fix this issue also, if one know how to handle those phones.
Okay.
And on medicines, internationally on medicines, Braille embossed is there.
Okay.
Panadol Extra, on lot of medicines, life-saving drugs, on
Wow.
life-saving drugs. But in Pakistan, though, Braille is not embossed. So for person living with visual impairment, it's very difficult to identify the medicine. That's also discriminatory exclusionary practice, rather, I must say,
Right.
because that's exclude the needs of the people living with visual impairment.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Okay, but now moving on. So what I wanted to ask you was that, for example, whenever we talk about the Braille system, did you happen to use the Braille system yourself?
Till class 9.
Till class 9. So,
yeah,
so that means that you can actually teach us how to use the Braille system,
Yeah.
or probably people who are out there. So how does the system work?
Just the basics.
It's basically, it consists on 6 dots.
Yeah.
3 from the right, 3 from the left, right?
Okay.
Left
Vertical or horizontal?
vertical.
Okay.
And it's basically 1, 2, 3 on left side, 4, 5, 6. All digits, all numerics, all letter are based on those codes.
Okay.
Okay.
Basically, you can write music, you can write physics, you can write numericals, you can write mathematics, algebra, everything people can do. A good friend of mine, he did PhD from Canada.
Wow.
And a PhD in physics.
Wow.
And in Pakistan, it's unfortunate fact, children living with visual impairment cannot opt science subject.
Right.
Because the people are not very much familiar with the Braille system, that's why they don't teach them
So how
science.
do we use these dots? So 1, 2, 3 on the left and 4, 5, 6 on the right.
We read left to right.
Okay.
There are two system of writing these Braille system. One is through Braille machines. That is Parkin Brailler, Harbal, some other machines. It contains 8 buttons.
Okay.
1, 2, 3. Left side and 4, 5, 6 on the right side, space bar, back button, and line shift button.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
And there is another system that is called frame. In frame, we write right to left, but we read left to right.
Okay.
And but on machine, we usually read and write left to right.
Okay.
And rather you are writing Urdu, you are writing English, you are writing
You just write left to
Hindi,
right.
Japanese, left to right.
Okay.
Okay.
Makes
Wow,
sense.
well,
It sounds
well,
very
well.
confusing to us, but for a person like
No,
you
it's
who's
very easy.
bright.
It's very easy
Yeah.
because you can read, you can write. But if you know the composition of those 6 dots, you
Right.
can read and write
Exactly.
each and everything.
Right, I'm sure.
So one last thing towards the end of this segment, and that is that we think that in days to come, there'll be other better systems in place rather than using Braille.
Because it contains a lot of space.
Okay.
It's one demerit of Braille. only one demerit that it contains lot of space, because in these elections, Election Commission of Pakistan pilot the poster in Braille,
Yeah.
and you know, it contains space, lot of space, so that's why it's very difficult. But you know, smartphones place its space,
Yeah.
because they replace it, because but though there are two issues,
Okay.
because while reading in Braille, you know the spellings.
Okay.
When you are using digital phone,
You don't know the
you don't know the spelling, and
And
that's
it gets
the-
embarrassing when you're actually texting somebody for the very first time and you know that you are actually going to have a future with that person, and the other person judging you for not writing the right spelling, I think can be very embarrassing.
Yeah, it is. It is. That's why I usually on the predictive text.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, makes more sense.
Yeah, I think
Autocorrect
that's
works
great.
for us as well.
Exactly. But one last thing, very sorry that I said it before I asked the question last time as well, and that is that how many household products have you witnessed with Braille on it? Because, for example, toothpaste, soap, there's so many other things which we use every day. And I just wanted to know whether these companies are actually keeping in their minds that, their product can be used by people who might not be able to see the product.
Worldwide, all products usually it's international standards. They impose Braille on it.
Okay.
Every toothpaste, every soap, everything, even there are a lot of companies, they usually impose Braille on their microwave ovens, juicer
Exactly,
machines,
exactly.
and each and everything, utensils. But as when it comes to the Pakistan, those things are manufactured in Pakistan, and people are not very much inclusive, but they don't understand the, due to lack of education, I think.
Yeah,
Right.
or awareness,
The,
yes.
the lack of awareness, that's why they don't incorporate this system, because otherwise it doesn't cost much. Only 1% with 1% additional cost, they can impose Braille on everything.
Exactly.
Okay, wow.
Thank you very much, Zulkarnain Sahib, for being with us. It was lovely to have you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much once again. And for people who are out there, ladies and gentlemen, this was our take on World Braille Day. And I think that, since the world has actually been evolving since the day the world has been, I think what we need to do is probably look into newer ways. And but whatever we have, with whatever is existent, I think we need to incorporate that for the feasibility of people who really want to work and bring about a change, whether they are like us or differently able. I think that's
Absolutely.
what the concept is. We are going for a short break. Don't go anywhere. We will be right.
Back, stay tuned.
Good morning.
Magla Hills, the heaven of Islamabad. The abode of God, a place where you can explore your soul and meet power of natural elegance of mountains. Spread over an area of 12,605 hectares, the Magla Range, the foothills of Himalayas, are youngest hills with an age of 5,000 years old. Magla Hills are home to around 600 plant species, 250 bird varieties, 38 mammals, and 13 species of reptiles. Magla Range is characterized by many valleys, scenic spots, and beautiful water streams, especially in the monsoon months. Famous for their tranquil environment and lush green natural splendor, Magla Hills are a particular source of pride, harmony, and spiritual solace. For the residents of Islamabad, many of whom make it a weekly ritual to scale the various trails to Damanico and Pir Suhawa. Magla Hills send off its visitors with lasting trail of memories to relish in solitude and provide an escape from the relentless rhythm of life.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. For everybody who just got tuned into PTV World, you watching World this morning alongside Chiza Hashmi and Shahzad Khan. Today, earlier, ladies and gentlemen, we were joined by Mr. Zulkarnain Asghar, who's a person with, who's living with a different ability. And we were talking about World Braille Day, since it was today, 4th of January, and it was Louis Braille, the inventor of the Braille system's birthday. And other than one of our producers' birthday too as well, but we are done with that. But now moving on, we have got some amazing stories to share with you guys. So it's two of them, and one of them is actually from Balochistan, ladies and gentlemen. So, okay, but moving on, I think before we share those stories, there's this amazing story which is all over the globe right now. So thousands of well-wishers visited the Imperial Palace in the heart of Tokyo as Japan's Emperor Akihito delivered his final New Year speech to the public ahead of his abdication in April. And it's happening for the first time.
Yes, absolutely. And Akihito was actually accompanied by the members of the royal family, including the Empress Michiko and his eldest son, Crown Prince Naruhito, as he sent his regards to people of the world through the glass-walled balcony, as you can see in the visuals.
Exactly. And, just look at the number of people who actually came out. So many well-wishers made their journey to the Japanese capital during the 3-day national New Year holiday to say thanks to the Emperor, who is expected to step down on April 30th.
And a highly revered emperor to many Japanese, Akihito has spent his reign addressing the legacy of World War II, which was fought in the name of his father, Hirohito, and consoling victims of the natural disaster as well. And actually, his era is also called the era of peace, Heisei or Heisei.
Oh, and once again, ladies and gentlemen, I'll make sure that everybody listens to this, that this is for the very first time happening in the Japan's history. Otherwise, unfortunately, if the king actually died or was sick, and only then this transition took place. Yeah, so that's what we are talking about. But before we talk about this, we have got two amazing stories to share. So I think we can do that too as well. One of them is from Pakistan, where one of our beaches have actually made it to the top 50 beaches in South Asia.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and people need to go over there. So if we can run the visual probably, but okay, Kund Malir is the name of the place, ladies and gentlemen. An untouched beach in Balochistan has made it to the list of top 50 Asian beaches, Kund Malir Beach.
I really wish we could see the visuals, but have you been there though? I've never been.
Yeah.
Have you been there? I'm asking.
No, I've been there, and it was lovely. Look at that.
Made
Look at
it
that.
wow.
to the list of top 50 Asian beaches. According to Flight Network's list of the world's best beaches for 2018, the Kund Malir beach is one of the most exotic beaches and definitely one of the top tourist attractions in the country. This untouched shoreline rests at the bottom edge of Hingol National Park between the desert, mountain and sea, making for some of the rarest, breathtaking views. Offering unparalleled serenity and so much more, this golden beach has to be a must-see destination on anyone's trip to Pakistan. The Flight Network's Asia's top 50 beaches list is prepared by collecting insider knowledge of over 600 journalists, editors, bloggers and agencies who see it to believe it.
Yeah, so good news for Pakistanis out there, but at the same time, I'm going to take you back to Japan, where I think in Tokyo there's this Momichi beach, and it's one of the very amazing
Finest
beaches in
beaches,
Japan. Yeah, one of the
yes.
finest beaches. But ladies and gentlemen, to talk about this transition which is going to take place in Japan's for the very first time, the world history, I think relating it with Japan, we've got somebody to shed light on that, and he's been on the show before too as well. He's live on his cell phone over here, he's somewhere in the studios. He's a celebrity out there too as well. He's been actually, his wedlock is within the royal family too as well. He's none other Mr. Humayun Mughal, and he's a journalist in Japan himself. Hello, Ohio gozaimasu, how are you?
Ohio gozaimasu. Genki desu ka?
Jiska. How are you?
Fine, thank you very much.
for sharing us. It was
No, nice to see you again here. I
Absolutely.
Thank you
think,
Our
very much once
pleasure.
again. When did you come back from Japan?
just 2 days ago.
I mean, this is one thing which I cannot realize. How can your wife actually allow you to be in Pakistan and be all over the globe whenever you want, and you travel without her? This is so unfair.
Because she loves me and I trust her and she trusts
Okay.
Oh, wow, I think that
So
answers
I
a
think
lot.
this is the oldest key to success.
me. Yes, yes.
Absolutely. So to start with, were you there for the New Year ceremony?
No, actually, every year I go there.
Okay.
But this time, I was in Pakistan. I couldn't go to the New
Oh,
Year
okay.
ceremony.
So describe the ceremony to us, since you've witnessed this before as well.
Yes. Actually, mostly this the emperor. You can say is a higher spiritual leader.
Right.
Mostly people thinking he's like God.
Okay.
No, he's the descendant of God. They call it.
That's what they believe.
Ten no Heka. So he's a. That's why he's a very. So what he's doing is the spiritual things. Praying for people, praying for peace, praying for nations.
Right.
Every time he's praying, that is his emperor mission. He's
Well,
not
we'll
like
come
king.
to that. I really do need to, talk about that. But before that, I want you to tell me, when I was seeing on Twitter a lot of thousands of people gather, just to witness the emperor once.
Yes.
So how important is it for the commoners to celebrate this day with their emperors?
Actually,
is this the only chance for them to see him?
Yes, only once in a chance to see directly,
Okay.
So every year he appear on the public, and people, want to see to get
Right.
blessing from him.
Oh,
So he's a very miracle power, the people feel love and peace and respect from him. So every time, so this is first time in the history, that he, abdication.
Yeah.
First time,
While
mostly
he's
when
alive.
the emperor die and the next is coming.
Right.
But he decided, and that's why Japanese nation like him very much, and that's maybe his last time to watch him. Mostly,
Wow.
go for when die, they go for a funeral, but no, in the lifetime.
Yeah, but we will definitely, I definitely want to dig in a little more as well.
Okay.
But ladies and gentlemen, here's the interesting part.
Yeah.
So Mr. Humayun and our senior producer Mr. Jamshed Sultan happened to be together in Japan.
Yes.
And they actually visited the same palace. So if we
Yes.
can share the pictures.
Yes. This
Yes,
is the
here.
royal family. He's the uncle of this new prince, Naruhito. This is I got
That's you.
Shinto award. I got it from royal family. So this is the royal family from the Shinto.
Wow.
So mostly, I'm very respectable there, and people
Exactly.
like me. And this is the first lady, Mrs. Abe, Prime Minister wife.
Okay.
And she was in the ceremony. We invited her to the Pakistan embassy.
And you look very happy. Yeah.
Yeah,
Look at your
and this is
smile.
the princess, Princess Takamado.
Yeah.
She was also in our Pakistan embassy. So I did a lot of, events in the Pakistan embassy. I feel the embassy is the home of Pakistan.
I think next time me and Shiza need to be in Japan to do all of
yes,
these
and
shows.
this
I
is
know,
my
right?
media work. I'm doing my TV shows. I'm doing
That's
talk
great. And
shows.
we,
And
yeah,
this is
yeah,
great. This is
hey,
Jamshed
hey.
Sultan. You can
Yes,
watch it,
Mr. Jamshed Sultan,
Yes,
and he
he's our
went
producer.
to witness the palace itself as well. So
Yes.
can you let us know about this entire palace or the?
The
This
places.
palace is
Yeah.
very historical. The Japanese, emperor is start from 2,600 years ago.
Yeah.
So
look
this
at
step by
him.
step. So look at
Looks
that,
so
he's
fresh.
smile. So he's fresh. So he was there, I was
Great
with
guy.
him, and
Yeah.
we visited to the royal palace. And Jamshed Sultan looks very happy, and
Yeah,
I'm very,
okay, we can be back on television now.
but really he's very happy, and I'm very thankful to him because
Well,
of him
indeed,
now.
it is a very
Yeah.
beautiful place to be,
Yes,
right?
beautiful place.
Okay, so back to the concept of divinity, which is sort of associated with the emperors in Japan. I do know that Akihito's father was actually really considered as God among the people, but then this concept sort of broke down after Akihito was in power because he changed things. And tell us about the era and why it was called Peace Era, and how the concept and the beliefs of people have changed with time.
Oh yes, actually, this every emperor has their own emperor. They have the calendar, For example, in Islam we have Hijri calendar.
Okay.
And 1999, like now 2090, is the Isri calendar. Is from Christ.
Okay.
But they have their own calendar from royal emperor. They call it from 2,600 years. The first emperor was Jim Tenno.
Okay.
Jim was started, and step by step, whenever the emperor changed, they changed their calendar.
Okay.
So that's why most of the people ask them, why don't you start this time from 1st
Right,
January? They said,
right.
no, we don't believe that. We have our spiritual thing. They have own events, spiritual events in the shrines. So they don't want to change. So that's why they put this, Akihito put his Heisei.
Okay.
So before it was Showa.
Okay.
Showa was the, it's another, his grandfather. And Heisei is like a just peace.
Peace.
And that's why it's a peaceful country.
Okay, that's great. But now, Humayun Sahab, I'm going to come down to a question which might be very difficult for you too as well. Not very difficult because you directly or indirectly can do something about it, probably, on a global level as well. And that is that, while we were rehearsing before the show, so Shiza told me that, for example, if it's going to move on to the next generation, since the guy does not have any son,
Yeah.
so it's going to be probably his brother.
Yeah.
So in Japan, none of the emperors have been a female so far.
That's why, the
What do you
crown
mean by
prince.
that's
yes.
why? I mean, that's so
they're
unfair.
doing, but I think they're thinking that they're changing
Okay.
the law that maybe
Okay.
the female be princess.
Okay, so they're trying
Yes,
that.
they're trying
Okay.
to. Now this time, this
Or
you
the
can
queen,
this the
yeah.
royal family princess from the public. She's not from royal family.
Okay.
And Akito wife is Michiko-san is also from the public. She's not from royal family.
Okay.
So now they're thinking to change. If there is no boy, so maybe that female lady, because mostly the Japanese Shinto, lady god is they call it Amaterasu Omikami, is
What
a
is
lady
that?
god.
Okay.
So they are-
Sorry,
Amaterasu Omikami.
Amaterasu
Omikami,
Omikami.
yes.
Amaterasu
Omikami is a lady god and lady
Okay.
prince, you can say. So she was studied this history of Japan. So they are thinking to make maybe the female can be a princess.
So there are chances that probably Naruhito's daughter will be the
I
next.
think so. I
Okay,
think so because the
wow.
future, in the near future, people's the new generation have different mind. They are looking for something different.
So,
And since I'm sorry, I have
Yeah,
to
yeah,
cut you
it's
over here,
alright.
but since you just mentioned that a lot of, crown princes are actually marrying into commoners. So I was reading this article which actually said the monarchy of Japan is probably going down with time. Is it true? Because not a lot of real royal blood is left in the family, is it?
But no, the history has been changed now. Everybody
Okay.
want to prince and princess in the house.
Right,
so now
that's true.
the most of the public vision is getting changed. Now they are very happy that Naruhito, this is now coming new emperor, his wife is also from private, public.
Okay.
So people are very happy. She's from diplomat area, you know. So I think people don't mind it. So new future will become is a new generation, new emperor. Because in the Japanese emperor, they are not like king, that they have a power.
I think
to
the
change.
Britishers have actually set the line straight. I
Yes.
mean, Meghan Markle, for all of
That's
these
right,
people
that's
who've
right.
actually got married into the royal family, I think they've set the path right as
That's
well.
right, that's right. In England, you can watch it. I disagree. So maybe all around the world, a lot of prince and princesses.
Exactly. But
So
one
they
more
can
thing before we actually, ask you to sing us a Japanese song, and that is that, for example, whenever we talk about other countries, so the world is actually going to witness on April 30th that how the transition actually takes place successfully and that too in a very peaceful manner. What are we expecting? I mean, what are we going to witness on our television screens? How does the ceremony take place?
Yeah, I think it will be more interesting ceremony and
Really?
very spiritual. I think this our Prime Minister Abe's government is planning to do. New calendar, new emperor.
Okay.
Within, his past emperor is there. The whole family. So I think it will be more blessing ceremony. I think the world will be focused on it.
And
it will be
what-
highlighted.
And what would you be doing on April 30th?
maybe I'm
since
going
you're
to-
actually relatives with the royal
Yeah,
family?
no, I will be maybe on the television talking about like this on the Japanese media. That's my job,
Wow.
Right.
So talking about what is my feeling about this royal family. I love them, I respect them. That's why, they love me, they expect me, and they give me, I have the Shinto award, Peace Award. I got this Ambassador for Peace Award.
Wow.
So a lot of awards. So I'm very respectable Pakistani in Japan.
Wow. Amazing.
I'm
And we're
thankful
so
to
proud
this
of that.
family, proud of that, and especially because of my wife,
Oh, wow.
Beautiful. That is indeed beautiful. But ladies and gentlemen, before we wrap it up, the best part is that Mr. Humayun is actually going to sing us a song in Japanese.
Yes.
Wow.
Okay, can we do that?
Okay.
Let's do it. Let's give it a try.
Okay.
He's thinking.
Take your time. Not a lot
It's okay.
of it.
Sakura, sakura, namida no sakura, inamade sakura, heiwa no sakura.
But what does that
Wow.
mean?
It's like a sakura. Sakura is a cherry blossom.
Yeah.
Cherry blossom for love and peace.
And before this, I only knew that Sakura was actually the name of a restaurant. Okay. look.
yeah. That's why most of the Japanese put these sakura names to the different
Exactly.
places.
Oh, but which is why I wanted to talk about Japanese cuisines too as
Oh,
well.
yes.
Yeah,
So the other day, okay, this is a very interesting story and embarrassing once again. I don't know how I started my day today, ladies and gentlemen, but so what happened was that, there's this Japanese restaurant which actually opened up in Lahore, and they invited me over to do their red carpet and and whatnot. So I was there while I was hosting, and then after I got done with my work, so they offered me to come and eat.
Oh.
So they served me with sushi, and then there were other dip sauces, and then there was this one more thing which was rolled. I don't know what it was, and I never had the guts to ask them what it was. So I had the first sushi. It was tasty. It was yummy. And I was having a lot of fun over there while having it. And to myself, I thought that it's not enough for me, so I should probably go and have the second one as well because it was on the plate. So I had the second one, and somewhere in the middle of the second one, I realized that, the first one was enough. So why does that happen with sushi? I mean, eventually you realize that, it was too much.
Actually, it's a raw fish,
Yeah.
Most of the Japanese don't push any spices and everything. They try to make the natural taste.
Yeah.
I like sushi too. So when you see, raw fish, everything, you will still young. You can look at me, I am 56 now.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to maintain my youngness.
Wow.
Yeah,
Is the food. Japanese food is very healthy. It can keep you young and more beautiful for ladies. So I want to suggest the Pakistani people too, try to use, not too much spices.
Okay.
Try to make the natural nutritions and vitamins. So when you cooked or burn everything is killed,
Yeah.
So Japanese food, they don't burn, don't kill. Everything they're trying to the natural.
And that's what you eat. I mean, when you're back home, so that's
Yeah,
what
I
your
love
wife's
to
going
go.
to cook for you.
Maybe 3 or 4. No, in the home,
Yeah.
mostly I eat the Japanese food, but sushi is only we can eat on the
Okay,
shops.
but what kind of normal conventional food do you guys eat when you're at home? I mean, obviously it's not going to be dal palak in Japan.
Dal
right?
palak, no, I cook by myself. My
Okay.
children cook, I train them.
Wow.
I like chicken kadai, everything. Once in a month, I cook the Pakistani food.
That's
But mostly we prefer that noodles like a udon, ramen, or somen, or we call it gohan, takuan. This is a sakura, or like this is a tempura, sushi.
Wow, man. Must be so
there's a
nice to
more than
enjoy different cuisines.
More than 50 kind of foods are there.
Okay, name one dish which your wife cooks the best.
I call it gyoza.
Gyoza.
It's
but
a dumpling.
Okay, dumpling.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dumpling,
And we're getting dumplings away in F6 too as well away in
Yeah, we do.
Islamabad. Yeah.
So towards the end, I just want you to, since we were talking about, the monarchy over there in Japan, so what are your or everyone's expectations from Naruhito and his, rule? And also because they're the young couple, they're the sort of global couple, and I feel like Japanese should be expecting a lot more from them because they're the modern types. So you, being a Japanese, what are you
I've got
expecting?
a lot of respect for
Yes.
Japanese people as a nation too as well.
Yes, even now, even the foreigners are living in Japan. Minorities also, they respect this Naruhito.
Okay.
So we're expecting a lot of things from him because his father, when he was last addressing to the nation, he especially mentioned to the minorities. This is the we love foreigners, those who are come here and work for us. Because in the Second World War, Japanese were out of Japan. They were working as same like foreigners are working. So he really gave very polite word for the foreigners.
Right.
And all the foreigners are getting, oh my God, that he specially mentioned for the foreigners living in Japan. That says, you are the part of us. You're the part of the society.
Wow.
We welcome to you. And in the now 2020, the Olympic is coming soon.
Yeah.
Just that a lot of more than 50,000 foreigners are coming to the Japan.
Wow.
We welcome to you. Come to Japan. Make it more international, more we could say that cosmopolitan city. So I
right.
think this Naruhito is doing more things because he's more international minded.
Yes.
He was educated, from abroad.
Yeah.
His wife is like from diplomatic background.
Okay, okay.
So I think the peoples are
So it's going to be
expecting.
big.
So Japan will be more, I think.
One last thing, and you'll have to be very careful about that, and that is that wherever in whatever country we see monarchy, we definitely see that when the transition takes place, there are a lot of impacts or repercussions on the government too as well. Do we see the same with Japan too as well? Do you think that there'll be changes within the democratic levels or how the democratic process works?
I don't think so because this emperors don't involve in the political system,
But that's what we say.
That's right. So that's why the political system also don't want to disturb them.
Okay.
But somehow it depends on the political, that leader's policy that is a Democrat or like different groups are there. So somebody is trying to change their rules. But most of it, this is the Liberal Democratic Party.
Okay.
This is Mr. Abe, Prime Minister
Yeah.
Abe is doing
absolutely.
a lot of things, good things.
Exactly.
He's maybe third generation to build this country.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I think he will do something good relation with Naruhito Princess, who is going to be emperor. And I think will a bright future in Japan and good for Pakistan. trying to good relation with Pakistan
Yeah.
and Japan. So I'm trying to my bridge between Pakistan and Japan.
You
And
are
that's what
indeed
we are
the
trying
bridge.
to do as well, you know. So that's what we are trying to do as well. Thank you very much, Mr. Humayun.
Okay, thank you very
It was
much.
wonderful to have you.
Yes, thank
And
you.
once again, Ohio gozaimasu.
Thank you.
It
I
was
like
super.
arigato gozaimasu.
Arigato gozaimasu.
okay.
Okay, that's
Thank
one
you
thing
very
more which I've learned today. Arigato gozaimasu. But
Yes.
before we do that, do you want to say anything today?
No, I think that's
Are you
it.
sure?
Yeah.
Okay, so for all those people, please make sure to remember that if you're traveling to Murray, Galiad, or you're in the northern places, it's going to snow over there from Friday till Sunday. So make sure to keep your warm clothes with you and an umbrella and probably a portable heater.
Yes.
Or a chimney or something of
Need
that
of the
sort.
hour.
Yes, exactly. But don't forget to write to us on our Facebook page, which is with the name of,
Well this morning?
on Twitter,
Well this morning without a G.
on Daily Motion and YouTube.
Well this morning,
and the fabulous repeat's going to be at
11 p.m.
till the next time. 1, 2, 3.
Good morning. Take care.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. Great.